I will start my video by saying please send your tumblers, because it's the most important part of tumbler making. If you don't send your tumbler, you will find that your seal can be easily broken and it can be peeled off very easily. So send them tumblers. Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how I make my version of rainbow glitter tumbler. These are my usuals. So glitters, bright tone, E6000 brush, and my well scuffed sanded down tumbler. I also use a tea strainer to do a better transition. So I put a thin coat of bright tone very thinly onto my tumbler, and I'm using a brush for this so that it's coated evenly. And then I just start glittering my colors. So I start with the red, and then after that with orange, but I don't have an orange, so I use like a bronzy orange glitter, and then yellow. At this point, if you can see, the transition is really bad. Like, you can see harsh lines and everything, but because it's only the first layer, so you shouldn't be so bothered by this. Once that's done, I usually go into my second layer immediately, and I use E6000 to coat evenly, and then I will start glittering. This is also the part where you pay attention to your transition, and that's where the tea strainer comes in. And all you have to do is use the tea strainer from a certain angle, like very high angle, high height, so that the glitter will disperse nicely. And then after all that's done, I spray with E6000 again to so-called seal the glitter so that it doesn't move about when I use my first bright tone later on. And then this is the part where I take out all the tape and let it dry. So this is my first bright tone coat after the E6000 has already dried. So the first coat, usually I'm quite gentle, because I want to avoid contamination as much as possible. So after that, you rest it, and then once it's dry, you put on the second coat of bright tone. The reason why I'm actually using my hands is because my brush actually I forgot to wash my brush, and thus it hardens, and I have to buy a new one, but I can't because all the shops are closed due to the quarantine. So I hope that explains a little bit. I'm just making sure that I get it smooth, and making sure that every part of the tumbler is being coated well. I also use a wet wipe to actually clean the stainless steel rim. After that is dry, I'm going to put my third coat of BRITE. It's the same process all over again. And then wipe the rims with wet wipes again. Once that is dry, you put on your fourth coat of BRITE. Usually I stop at 3 coats and then I will sand down, but sometimes when I feel scared to sand down, or I feel like I put too thin of a layer of BRITE and I fear sanding down, I will go on the 4th coat. So once this is dry, as in once my 4th coat is dry, I will sand down. And I dry sand. Please wear your masks because you don't want to breathe in all the dust. I'm using 1000 grit, and it's good to use 1000 grit also if you're afraid that you might sand down the glitter, or if you're afraid that you don't have enough layers. So and then I do my 5th coat, and this is 5th coat after the first sand. You can actually feel the difference after the first coat and if you don't sand at all. So that's why you should sand every 3 layers of BRITE. After that, you do the same thing. You wipe the rim, stainless steel rim, using wet wipes. And then this is my 6th coat after the first sand. So it's actually getting smoother at this point. You can see the top rim of my tumbler. There's actually the red glitter. There's a little bit of stain. You can actually just use an X-Acto knife and make it cleaner. So that's what I did. And I'm using 600 grit for my 2nd sanding after it's dry. Right after sanding, you can immediately put on your decals. And after putting decals, I don't really immediately put the BRITE because I want the vinyls to actually adhere to the tumbler first. So I will put it in front of the fan for a few minutes. After that, I put my 7th coat of BRITE after the 2nd sanding. And vinyls actually play a huge part of the coatings, the number of coats that you will end up with, because some vinyls tend to be thicker. Like for instance, this holographic vinyl is pretty thick, so I need to have a few layers. After that's dry, I put on my 8th coat of BRITE after the 2nd sanding. I think at this point I could still feel the vinyl. It was still protruding out, and that's the irritating part about holographic vinyls, because it's so thick. It takes a lot of coats. And then I usually always end with taking a wet wipe and wiping the rims. It will seal on its own, as in it will seal really nicely on its own. So this is how it looks like after 8 coats of BRITE. I can still feel the vinyl, so I'm not really happy, and thus I am lightly sanding again, dry sanding. I'm actually not sanding down my stainless steel, but instead I'm sanding down the bright tone that I've been so-called wiping away, but there's obviously still residue there, so it's that explains the seal. So now I'm going to do my 9th coat of bright tone after my 3rd sanding. So this is my 10th coat of bright tone, and this is my last coat after my 3rd sanding. So if I could summarize, I would say you probably only need 10 coats of bright tone, and you have to sand down 3 times, and that's it. But I'm pretty sure if you use a thinner vinyl like Oracle, it will probably take less than 10 coats. Please subscribe to my channel, guys, and I will not be posting videos so regularly for the next few months because I'm actually shifting. So I apologize if I've been really slow with my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Bye bye.